Welcome. My name is Don Ricardo. I am one of your hosts on this tour of El Encanto, the dream farm in Costa Rica. Our goal is to educate the population on the importance of sustainable development. This farm has a history of more than 20 years with a very important reforestation project. In addition to having obtained the certificate from the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock to make an organic farm. What has been done over the years is very important. We were fortunate to receive the Blue Flag Ecological Climate Change Award and the Blue Flag Ecological Agriculture Award in 2015. And this has allowed us to be one of the examples of sustainable development in the Brunca area. Biological corridors are very important areas for the conservation of biodiversity and the passage of species between one region and another. We had the great opportunity to start the farm in one of the most important points of the Paso de la Danta biological corridor, which unites this entire coastal area from Quepos to Uvita, connecting it with the coastal mountain range, a very important mountain range in the region. The importance of this corridor lies in the fact that it unites the coastal biological corridor with a mountainous biological corridor and is one of the most important areas for the passage of high caliber animal species such as the tapir, the puma, and the jaguar. We are located at one of the most important points of the Paso de la Danta biological corridor. The situation in this area was very bad due to the deforestation that existed in the region. And here, a reforestation effort has been carried out for more than 20 years that includes all the native endangered species of the area, which has caused the biodiversity in the area to increase dramatically. Especially, there are now large animals such as the puma and deer that have been seen in the area. Monkeys also arrive, and it is a great nest of toucans and multiple birds. The problem we have with climate change is unsustainable development. The biggest problem is one we are creating ourselves. This is where the concept of the carbon footprint comes in. A carbon footprint is the amount of energy and waste each person uses in their life to carry out their daily activities, consumption, healthcare, and other activities. Here we see that one of the biggest problems in North America is a carbon footprint is equivalent to 22.23 areas of tropical forest per person. This is unsustainable in the long term because there are more than 400 million people. Multiply that by 22.23 acres. Europe is not far behind, with almost 12.4 acres per person. This means that each person would need 12.4 acres of forests to offset the waste and energy consumption they produce. Latin America is slightly lower at around 9.9 acres per person, while Asia and Africa have the lowest figures. The first problem caused by this climate change. We are seeking temperature changes, problems with glaciers, and all kinds of environmental issues. The biggest problem created by this has been deforestation. In Costa Rica, over the last 70 years, farmers faced many economic difficulties and had to deforest large areas of the land. This has caused a serious erosion problem due to the overgrazing of those lands, which for more than 40 to 50 years have been used for livestock farming. At the same time, the erosion is causing water reserves to become completely salinized because there is no protection from fertile organic soil. As a result, the salt from the soil enters and damages the water reserves. This causes the loss of many natural resources because deforestation, erosion, and water pollution lead to a loss of biodiversity. One of the biggest problems we face right now is that we do not know how the loss of biodiversity will affect human health. The solution to the problem is education and action, which is what we are doing right now for many communities in Costa Rica, especially for the universities and schools. Many foreigners have also come to understand the importance of environmental preservation. Sustainable development is the future of our generations, and later we will talk about the ways in which many things are being done on the farm as a model for creating sustainable development in the country and for promoting it as a model throughout Latin America. The preservation of the tropical rainforest has been one of our greatest examples. More than 30,000 trees of the most important species that are endangered, as well as many protected species in Costa Rica, have been planted. In Costa Rica, there are more than 18 protected species that cannot be cut down. We have carried out extensive reforestation, not only with trees, but also with many species of flower, medicinal plants, food-producing plants, and vegetables. What have we done to preserve the tropical rainforest? We have carried out extensive reforestation, through which we are going to show you very important species for Costa Rica and for the future, in order to preserve seed germplasm. We have protected the tropical rainforest, and biodiversity has increased. Our workers tell us there has been an increase in species that had previously disappeared from the area and have now returned, especially many species of birds. We have especially protected the natural water springs. We have 5 natural springs with large amount of pure water. We have reduced the carbon footprint by planting 74 acres of forest, and we are protecting native species that are endangered. Welcome to the tropical rainforest in the Guavo Valley region, one of the most biodiverse places in Costa Rica and the South Pacific. One of the most important species we have included in our reforestation efforts is the mountain almond tree. Besides being a very special type of wood, it is the only species eaten by the great green macaw, one of the most beautiful birds, which is currently in critical danger of extinction. In the next 5 to 10 years, you will see a forest that will become one of the most important habitats for the great green macaw in Costa Rica. We found that the Sancho Mayo was one of the fastest growing species for protecting the rainforest canopy. The organic layer is very thin and needs constant regeneration from all the tree species that sustain it in order to be protected and maintained. Here are some special little ants carrying their food. One of the great characteristics is its rapid growth. There are different examples of this type. One here, another over there, and another there. And this allows you to see how the process of natural regeneration occurs in the tropical rainforest. The pilon zapatero is one of the strongest woods used for making floors and furniture, and it is considered one of the finest woods in Costa Rica. They come from a very important forest reserve in San Carlos. These are important species and clones of the best pilon zapatero species in Costa Rica, which is why they grow so quickly to produce wood that could be very useful in the future in case of an energy need. Here we can see, for example, one of the most important fine wood species in the southern region of Costa Rica. It is called amarillon. These trees come from Corcovado National Park in order to preserve native natural species from the Osa Peninsula so that the Paso de la Danta biological corridor can have a good combination of multi-purpose timber species. This is a cenicero tree. It comes from certified seeds provided by one of the most important wood research institutes in Costa Rica, CATIE, which is located in Turrialba. This is an example of the type of vegetation and the density that must exist to protect water springs. This forest is already approximately 20 years old, and you can notice the density and the height of the forest canopy, because this is the only way to keep water reserves pure and prevent the salinization of natural aquifers that flow from the mountains to the rivers of the plains and eventually into the sea. This is simply an adequate density for the protection of water reserves. This is an example of the Mayo colorado, a native species of the area. It is a very fast-growing tree that has regenerated extensively through the natural regeneration. And what you see behind me is the tree's own natural regrowth. Thanks to many years of reforestation, the flow of this natural spring has been restored, and it has been possible to maintain a certain amount of water throughout the entire year. This water is used for the farm's sustainable development activities in that house, and we channel it
so that it can be used for raising tilapia.
It comes from a natural spring in the mountains, and the tropical rainforest is what protects it. There is where the organic farm begins. It is made up of a cacao plantation, a turmeric plantation, and tropical fruit species such as mango, orange, lemon, as well as a sugar cane plantation with Behibaye palms. Here we have more than 7 species of the best cacao clones in Costa Rica, which produce different varieties of cacao, and the seed is very important for the cognitive functioning of human beings. We're going to introduce you to one of the most important parts of the system, the production of vermicompost. We believe it is one of the most and best organic fertilizers that exist, as it increases beauty and production without causing ecological damage. You're going to meet one of our favorite animals, the California redworm, which transforms buffalo manure into a fertilizer rich in minerals, nitrogen, potassium, and carbon, and above all, containing natural biological hormones that promote plant growth. The next process after the production of vermicompost is the production of compost tea. Compost tea is one of the most productive organic foliar fertilizers in the world. What we do is transform the characteristics of vermicompost into a foliar fertilizer with a high mineral content. The next process on the Encanto farm is the use of a pelletizer. We have discovered and planted some of the best tropical forages, such as morera, gratilia, and girasol de monte. When the plant is mature, we cut it, dry its leaves, and process them to produce pellets that maintain a high protein content and can feed all smaller animals, as well as buffaloes and tilapias. Another very interesting process is the production of essential oils. This is still a device used to distill essential oils, adapted in a rustic way for a farm. We are making organic insect repellents because the chemicals used in current repellents are harmful to health. El Encanto Farm, our mottos. First, preserving nature is everyone's responsibility. Organic agriculture preserves resources, tastes better, and protects health. Those who work the land with care are always rewarded. And the most important thing is that we must preserve nature so future generations can enjoy it. I hope that many people will change their mindset toward the protection of natural resources. This tree is called Chancho Blanco, also known as lechoso. It is a great example of the number of years a tree needs to grow to this size, and the very little time a human needs to cut it down. You decide. This is an example of what nature needs in order to continue its evolutionary cycle with the least possible human disruption. A good example of the preservation of natural resources.